All right, so today we're going to talk about something really powerful, a way to get your peace back. But here's the twist. It's not about big, loud confrontations. It's about something called quiet release. It's for that moment when you just realize you've done enough, you've said enough, you've tried enough, and something's got to change.
So let's just start with a feeling. I bet you know this one. It's that deep, bone-tired exhaustion, right? When you're constantly trying to fix something or someone that just keeps hurting you. It's that moment you look at a relationship and think, wow, the cost of this, the emotional price, it's just way too high. And that right there, that's when the journey really kicks off. And what's interesting is it's usually not a moment of explosive anger. It's more like a quiet clarity. It's that little voice inside that says, okay, I'm out of words. The old way isn't working, and I have to do something different for myself. So that brings us to what we can call the tipping point. It's that exact moment you realize your efforts are just vanishing into thin air. The whole balance is off. So the big question is, how do you really know? How do you know when it's genuinely time to let go?
Well, it's really about paying attention to these patterns, these imbalances that just won't go away. You know what I'm talking about. When a person or a situation hurts you more than they love you, when they drain you, leaving you with nothing instead of filling you up, when they bring you way more stress than peace, and this last one is huge, when they seem to get in the way of your growth instead of cheering you on. These are not just little things, they're giant red flags you just can't afford to ignore anymore.
Okay, so recognizing the signs, that's step one. But what's step two? It's understanding the most powerful tool you have to build a boundary. And that tool is silence. Yeah, let's dig into how your silence can actually be the loudest thing you ever say. Now, let's be super clear here. This is not ghosting. It's not about just disappearing or avoiding a tough conversation you should have. Quiet release is different. It's a deliberate, conscious choice you make out of self-respect. Think of it as a mature decision to say, I choose me. You're preserving your well-being by peacefully walking away from whatever is poisoning your peace. And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you have the dramatic exit, right? It's loud, it's messy, it's all about reacting in the moment. You're burning energy just to prove a point. But on the other side, you have quiet release. It's intentional, it's peaceful, and the goal, it's not about spending energy, it's about reclaiming it for yourself. Because you've realized your goal isn't to make them understand anymore, it's just to be at peace.
And this idea of reclaiming energy, it leads us to a whole new way of looking at your most valuable asset. Seriously, it's not your time, it's not your money, it's your energy. And it's probably time to stop overspending it.
I love this quote because it just nails a huge mindset shift. The moment you start thinking of your energy as currency, like money in the bank, everything changes. You get so much more picky about where you invest it. You start to realize, hey, I can't afford to keep pouring my resources into these emotional black holes that give nothing back.
So this is kind of like doing your emotional accounting, right? Take a second and think about your own life. What's in your drains column? The constant drama, that feeling of walking on eggshells. Now, what's in your deposits column? The things that are truly soul-watering. The goal is so simple but so powerful. Do everything you can to minimize those drains and maximize those deposits.
And here's the bottom line. Protecting your peace is not a luxury. It's not selfish. It is an absolute necessity. Your clarity, your sanity, it all depends on it. I mean, the world outside is loud enough, right? Your inner world needs to be your sanctuary, not another war zone. And that sanctuary, that's what leads us to this incredible internal shift that happens when you finally step away from all that noise and you start listening to yourself again. This, right here, is where the real growth begins. We often think growth has to be this big, loud thing everyone sees. But a lot of the time, it looks like this. It's quiet. It's these small but incredibly powerful ways you show up for yourself. Like realizing you don't owe everyone an explanation for your choices. Or letting a provocative text just go unanswered. It's learning to be your own biggest fan, to clap for your own wins without needing an audience. But you got to be ready for something. Not everyone is going to be throwing a party for your growth. The hard truth is some people liked you better when you were broken. Your healing can actually make them uncomfortable, and they might not like this new, stronger you. And you have to remember, that is not your problem to solve. It is not your job to shrink yourself down just to make them feel big. Okay, so this brings us to the final and maybe the most empowering part of this whole thing, getting your own closure. And the secret is, you don't get it from them. You find it within yourself. And man, is this a freeing thought? You are not in the business of being understood anymore. Just let that sink in. You can let go of that exhausting need to make people see your side or validate how you feel. Your only business now is your own peace, your own joy, your own growth. What they think, honestly, it's none of your business. And that's really the core of it, isn't it? That closure you've been searching for, it's not hiding in one last conversation. It's not waiting in an apology that might never come. Closure happens the second you decide, fully, to choose yourself. You are the one with the power. You are the one who closes that door.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The exit, yeah, that might be quiet. But the comeback, the return to who you really are, that's going to be loud. It's going to be loud in your laughter, in the peace you feel, in the way you just shine. That quiet release you gave yourself creates the space for this brilliant, undeniable glow. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?